So, welcome to grade 7 math. Our first lesson is on 1.1, which is using multiples, which is page 4 in your textbook. Let's define first what a multiple is. Now, a multiple means that it is a repeated addition of the same number. In earlier grades, you may have used the term skip count. So just some notes about what a multiple is. A multiple is always equal to or greater to the original number. So for example, if we skip count 5s, the first multiple is 5, and then you continue counting up 5, then 10, then 15, then 20, then 25, then 30, etc. So you're skip counting higher than the original number. And we can use this to solve problems which have multiples of the same thing. So here's the problem in the textbook. Some grade 7 students are planning a hot dog sale at a volleyball tournament. Based on the last tournament, they expect to sell 100 hot dogs. The local grocery store sells wieners in packages of 12s and buns in packages of 8. So in order to solve this problem, let's split it up into two parts. The first thing is the wieners, or the actual sausages itself. So what we're going to do is, because they come in packages of 12, we kind of have to figure out all the different possibilities on the number of packages that we buy. So what we look at are the multiples. One package would have 12 hot dogs in it. Two packages would have 24 hot dogs in it. And three packages, if we continue on the trend, the multiples of 12 are 12, then 24, then 36, and then if we continue skip counting up, the next one is 48, then 60, then 72, then 84, then 96, and then 108. Now we're going to stop there because if we look back at our problem, it says we can't have more, we don't want more than 100 hot dogs. So we'll stop at around 108 anyway. So these are multiples for our sausages. Now for the buns, they come in packages of 8. So if we look at multiples of 8, we're going to see if we can find any common numbers between the two. So these were multiples of 12 because those were the hot dogs, the sausages. And now we'll look at multiples of 8 because those are the buns. So we're looking at two different numbers, and we're going to skip count both of them. So one package of buns is 8, two packages of buns is 16, and if we continue on the trend, the third multiple, or the third package, will bring us to a total of 24. And then we continue to skip count 32, then 40, then 48, then 56, then 64, then 72, then 80, then 88, then 90, 104, and 112. Again, we'll stop right after 100 because we don't really want to sell a lot more than 100 hot dogs. That's how much we expect to sell. So now what we've done is we've looked at the multiples of 12 and the multiples of 8. That's all we've done. So if we have multiple packages of the sausages and multiple packages of the buns. Now what we're going to look for are common multiples. Common is a fancy word meaning shared. So we are which multiples are shared between 8 and 12? Basically, the easiest way to do that is to look at what numbers are the same between the two of them. So if I just change my color to a highlighter, and we see any common numbers, well, we see that 24 is common between the two. And if we continue along, we see 48, also 72. And if we see there's a little bit of a pattern that occurs in terms of the common multiples, we can always see that the next common multiple comes in a pattern for both the 12 and the 8. So the common multiples of 12 and 8, as we can see here, are 24, 48, 72, 96, etc. Now, these are all special, but what we want is the lowest common multiple. Lowest common multiple would mean the smallest number that both 12 and 8 share as a multiple. So the lowest out of all of these is 24. And we abbreviate that the LCM because it's the lowest common multiple. This basically means this is the least whole number that has two or more given numbers as its factors. So in this example, 24 is the least common multiple of 8 and 12. Now let's go back and actually go back to the question. The question might be, how many packages and wieners of wieners and buns would the students need to buy in order to have about 100 hot dogs? So we can look back at our list and we see that 96 is pretty close to 100. We might want a little bit more, so if we continue our trend, we can see that the next common multiple will be the next multiple of 24 after 96. Whoa. Notice that common multiples, the least common multiple is 24, and now all the other common multiples are skip counts or multiples of 24. So the next one after 96 will be 120. And the next multiple of 24 after that is 144. So rather than listing out our multiples of 12 and 8, I can list out the multiples of 24 instead. So the ones that are closest to 100 are 96 and 120. Whoa, what colors am I using? And then now to figure out how many packages, I'll go back to my original and see how many skip counts I needed of the hot dogs and how many skip counts I needed of the buns to get to that. So 96, I needed to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is the 8th multiple of 12. So that means I need 8 packages of hot dogs, of sausages, and in terms of the buns, I'll count how many multiples I need of that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'll need 12 packages of buns. I could have answered this question differently and chosen 120 as my common multiple because that's around 100. And in that case, I would need 2 more packages of sausages. So I'd need 10 packages of sausages and 3 more packages of buns. So 15 packages of buns. Both are correct answers because they both solve the problem. So just to recap, multiples means the skip count of a number. It's always larger than the original number. Common multiple is a shared multiple between the two numbers, which means you have to have two numbers, original numbers, to find out what is common between the two of them. The least common multiple is the lowest number in which 8 and 12, or the two numbers, can go into it. And in order to solve the problem, I find out how many times I need to skip count to get to my final answer. So hopefully you understood this lesson. We'll go over it today and we'll work on some problems today.